Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again. We've just finished the second day of successful Executive Board meeting. Without further ado, President of the IOC, Thomas Bach, will make a few opening remarks and then we'll go straight to your questions. So, President, over to you.
Thank you very much, and welcome to all of you, and thank you very much for your great interest in the work of our Executive Board, which was concentrating today in a very productive way on sports and the Olympic Games and of the social responsibility. They're also related to the great success of the Games and of the Olympic movement. Of course, the focus was on the report of Tokyo 2020 as the next edition of the Games. There, the organizing committee gave a very impressive report about the progress being made. Of course, there was also a very comprehensive presentation on how the organizing committee is addressing the challenge of the coronavirus. As a conclusion, we can say that the OCOG is absolutely in line with the IOC Executive Board, as expressed in the statement of the Executive Board yesterday. There also the OCOG has today renewed and reinforced its full commitment to successful Olympic Games Tokyo 2020. There the stage is set. All competition venues are complete. 4.5 million Olympic tickets have been sold domestically in Japan. And to give you an indication of the enthusiasm of the Japanese people around these Olympic Games. One figure is maybe interesting. For these 4.5 million tickets, there were over 80 million requests since the start of the sale in tickets in Japan. We will have an important milestone on the way to these Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 when next week in ancient Olympia we will light the Olympic flame with a traditional ceremony at the birthplace of the Olympic Games more than 3,000 years ago. We also heard reports from Beijing, Paris, and Milano Cortina, as well as LA. There may be of most of interest for you, that at least what I think may be Beijing, because of the challenges with the coronavirus there in China. Despite these challenges, the organizing committee could present a report which shows with impressive numbers how successful they are in their engagement program. So they are well on target to make 300 million Chinese people familiar with winter sports. They have already now, just a couple of months after the start of the program, already now 670,000 applications for just 39,000 volunteer positions, and the application phase is still going on until next year. So we can expect some more record numbers. And also the marketing program is extremely well underway. There are already 10 marketing partners.
Thank you very much, President. I think a lot of announcements, a lot of news there. So open for questions if you'd like to indicate. We seem to be over this side, Rachel. So if we start, at the back here, and then we'll come forward. Start here, and then we'll move. Steve.
Thank you. Mr. President, obviously nobody wants the Games not to go ahead. But because of the uncertain nature of the coronavirus, I wondered, like every other international body, like every government, you will have discussed contingency plans. What are your options?
I can tell you that today in the meeting of the Executive Board, neither the word cancellation nor the word postponement was even mentioned. Of course, we are a responsible organization. This is why we have this joint task force, which is having regular meetings. And there we are addressing there any issues which may arise, but we are not speculating on any kind of future developments.
Okay, let's go to Dan Rowan from the BBC.
Thank you. Mr. President, realistically, how late could you make a decision to potentially delay the Games if you had to, if the advice came from the WHO or from governments to do so? And also, do you, despite your assurance today, do you understand why people are worried, given the effect this is having on sport worldwide now?
Again, I will not add fuel to the flame of speculation by giving a date here, giving a date dot, and fueling more speculations. Our statement from yesterday is very clear. We are fully committed. And we continue to work with the task force, and the same is true for the organizing committee. We have challenges now with the qualifications. There, you know the many measures we have been undertaking. This is challenging, yes, but I must also say I'm pretty proud of the Olympic movement, of the great solidarity and flexibility everybody has shown there so far to address these challenges and to ensure their fair qualification. This is for the athletes, you know, who have to change their travel destinations, even time zones where the sites for qualification tournaments are changed within days. They have to readjust and in the same time to continue to prepare. They have to face travel restrictions and so on. This is true for national Olympic committees who are great hosts and offering on very short notice there to be hosts to qualification tournaments. This is true for international federations who accommodate these changes and who accommodate also many teams, in particular many members of the Chinese team in different countries. So to allow them to train and to compete in third countries, to stay there, to travel from there to competition, so that they are not subject to quarantine or other restrictions. this is really a great demonstration of Olympic solidarity. And if we are supporting this in all the ways we can, so far we have managed, but we have also indicated that if we should come there at our limits, we may have in one or the other case to then consult with the respective international federations with regard to quota allocations if there should be a case where athletes would be prevented from taking part in the qualification procedure because of the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Thank you, President. Kosuke Inagaki from Asahi Shimbun. Also, question about Tokyo 2020. Certain amount of people in Japan have kind of trauma of Sapporo because marathon and race walk was suddenly moved to Sapporo with sudden surprise, and people are worried that same thing might happen to coronavirus. Could you give a message to the Japanese people? And one more question is, once the situation is settled in Japan, will the game will go ahead as scheduled, or Olympic is such a global event, it depends on the other country's situation? Thank you.
First of all, you know, you cannot compare the decision concerning Sapporo and the marathon, which we have taken in broad consultation with many stakeholders, with the coronavirus. You can only compare it in the way that both decisions and both approaches are being taken in order to safeguard the health and the well-being of the athletes. And with regards to the Games, Tokyo 2020, it is still true, what we said yesterday. It's even more true because the organizing committee has joined this statement. We are fully committed in successful Olympic Games Tokyo 2020.
Okay, let's move across, in the middle here, and then we'll go across, to Mark.
Luana Mose from Fuji Television. Could you tell us what the Japanese delegation explained on coronavirus? And second question, we heard that after the explanation, you expressed even more confidence in the holding of the Tokyo Games. Could you tell us why? What made you even more confident? And the last question is, if the number of infected cases grows even more in Japan, and if the WHO declares coronavirus pandemic, would you reconsider the Tokyo Games?
First, let me start with the second part. I'm here not for speculation. If this is happening or that is happening, then we may, I will not take part in any way, and the IOC as such will not take part in any way in such a kind of mere speculations. Secondly, the organizing committee there explained what they have already explained in detail to the Joint Task Force. This is about the measures having been taken by the Japanese government. This is about the measures they are discussing about with regard to the torch relay. This is about measures having been taken with cancellation of one event or the other in Spain, in Japan, outside the the Olympic Games. These had to do with some of the test events which took place without spectators, with regard to other events which took place with a reduced number of spectators, and a whole long list, and all this together makes us confident, because we could see from this that there is a close cooperation between the organizing committee, the Tokyo metropolitan government, the Japanese government, and that the decisions are being taken in a very responsible way after very diligent deliberation.
Okay, let's move, Rachel, yep. Let's move along these two here, yeah, Mark and the chap next to him, yeah.
Thank you for taking my questions. I'm Tomoyuki Oyagi, TBS Paris. So, after this meeting, I understand you are more confident with holding Tokyo 2020, but you have not mentioned IOC will hold Tokyo 2020 100% for sure. So, what is improved? What is needed for making decision, reaching conclusion to hold Olympic Games?
Do you have an agreement among yourself that you try there to get me into speculation? There finally, I can assure you I will not get tired to repeat the statement I made. The IOC is fully committed and we are not participating in any kind of speculation. With regard to, thank you first of all for the first not virus question.
Two questions, please. Apologise. Just a quick one on coronavirus. Could you say how much the IOC is paying for the cancellation insurance premium and how much coverage that provides you? It seems to be sort of trending towards about $20 million.
No, I don't. Frank, I don't know.
Okay. And on a
because it was not it was not the topic. So.
Yeah.
Hi, Liam Morgan, Inside the Games. Two questions, Mr. President, if I may. Firstly, to go back to the coronavirus
thank you.
And still on the virus, you've said repeatedly that you don't want to get involved with speculation or fueling the fire of flames of speculation. With that in mind, what was your response to the Olympics minister's comments yesterday, as she seemed to do exactly that? Thank you.
Okay, the first the question concerns athletes who may be prevented from taking part in the qualification procedure because of the coronavirus. If such cases should arise, then we will look together with the international federation, the respective international federation, into this, and will there try to find a fair solution. And this fair solution can mean, in the end, that we will.
Yeah, just to continue on coronavirus, if I may. You know, all the experts around the world are saying it's really difficult to predict how this is going to play out, how coronavirus is going to play out. So on what grounds are you so confident that the Games will go ahead as planned?
Because we are in contact with all these leading experts. The World Health Organization is a member of the joint task force. We have an own task force within the IOC with experts. The organizing committee has a task force, and then we are getting together in the joint task force. And based on this information and on this consultation, we are fully committed to the success of the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020.
So Shane from China Central Television, CCTV. My first question is still about the coronavirus. That is, the virus may continue to exist, and are there going to be any measures to protect the athletes and any measures you are taking for the athletes coming from the countries with the epidemic going on? And the second thing is, as you know, that the number of the cases has been declining in China, and WHO said that some experience can be learned from China as well. So are there any experiences that can be used as well in the Olympic Games to protect more people and to help the games? Thank you.
We are a sports organization, and we are follow the advice of the World Health Organization.
You said that you're taking advice from experts and WHO regarding the COVID-19, but the general manager of WHO, he is saying that we are in uncharted territory. We don't know anything about coronavirus and the new coronavirus. How can you be so sure about Tokyo 2020?
I had a conversation with the Director General of the World Health Organization and the leading people in the organization last Friday. And when we say we are fully committed to the success of the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, we took this conversation into consideration, as well as the contribution and advice the World Health Organization is giving on a regular basis to the Joint Task Force.
Thank you, President. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for your great interest in gender and climate. And have a nice evening and afternoon.
Yeah, and we see you in Tokyo in July. Thank you.